Episode 8. Here we go. What up, Mr. Jesse?
Oh, not much, man. Ready to start another episode.
Yes, sir. So we got TikTok Live going on right now. Looks like Mr. How do you say his name? Anthesio? Yeah, I don't know how you say that.
Oh, the bottom one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He joined though.
Yeah,
What's
he
up?
did. So, we have some things kind of brewing. Do you want to tease that at all for upcoming episodes that we?
Yeah, we do have an episode coming up. We'll be dropping it on March 1st. It's an interview with a rancher that raises grass-fed beef. It ought to be interesting.
For sure.
He's a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
And so.
Heck yeah. It'll be fun. Man, now it's not like you. The past couple times where you just,
Yeah.
clearing the throat.
You're starting to sound good, aren't you?
Yeah, buddy. So what's been going on? I know you're a little tired. We're all kind of a little tired. It's been a long week. But there's been some stuff happening, obviously. One thing in particular that I think probably the biggest story of the week has been the USAID.
Yeah, USAID. That's been fun to follow.
Yeah. So I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. And, Trump said that they're going to start DOGE is the next step is to go to the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine what they're going to find there?
Oh, man. They haven't passed an audit since, I think Teddy Roosevelt was around.
Yeah. It's been quite that long.
That's sarcasm. But yeah, it's
Is
been
it
a
though?
while. Well, fair.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, that'll be interesting. Did you see, I know she's a hero of yours, old Maxine Waters, show up at the Department of Education trying to get in?
Yeah, that old hag. I told her to stay at the house, but she just decided she wanted to go and talk to Leroy that was standing by the Department of Education building.
Go harass him, you mean?
Yeah.
She jumped on there, and my first thought when I first saw it was she goes, "We're not thieves and thugs. We're members of Congress." And I was like, that's literally the embodiment of thieves and thugs. Yeah. There's no bigger thief than members of Congress in my mind.
No. I don't understand why. Well, I do understand because it's their piggy bank, but
yeah,
why they're making such a big deal. I mean, I would think that transparency, regardless of, what side of the table you're on, transparency is a good thing. But right now, because of it's not the Democrat Party doing this, and because it's such a huge win for the Trump administration, they are freaking out.
Well, yeah. First of all, it is their piggy bank. There's so many kickbacks that get run through there, and we're going to learn more about all that. Mm-hmm. So, of course, they're scared of getting that cut. But if you look back in history, Bill Clinton did this, not necessarily as aggressively as we are with DOGE. Bill Clinton did it. Obama talked about reducing the size of government. This time it's actually just happening and at a pace that they can't keep up with. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, it's got them scared. And really, the way they're handling it is very poorly done.
Yeah.
It's like the kid caught with their hand in the cookie jar and they're like, I didn't steal nothing. It wasn't me. Before you even ask.
Yeah. What's kind of funny and ridiculous at the same time is that, we've had an established DOGE department for years. I don't know when the OMB was created, but, the Office of Management and Budget. Yeah, OMB. So this is a agency that's, designed to bring a balanced budget. And I think I read somewhere they had like 3,500 employees or something like that. What the hell have they been doing?
Hopefully we find out.
What the freak? I love this exposure. And I think we're kind of right now I think we're in a quasi civil war, cold civil war.
Yeah, yeah.
The way that just how the how do I want to put this? It's just it's almost revolutionary the way that they're exposing. I think it's going to get so much more darker. The things that are going to be exposed to the American people.
Yeah, they're scratching the surface right now.
And if this doesn't tick you off, just wait. I mean, I think it's just going to get worse and worse.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good thing though.
For sure. Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's pull off this Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
Yeah.
You talk about the employees. Did you see USAID had like 10,000 employees? They're down to 300 now.
Oh.
I know. I know.
Poor guys. Yeah.
There was that, and then also Trump has, he's pushed it saying, hey, if you want to resign now, we'll pay you 8 months. This is for any federal employee. Mm-hmm. We'll pay you 8 months severance, and you get to keep your benefits for 8 months, whatever. Go find something else if you want to go ahead and resign now.
Yeah.
And the judge just extended that, so now they have until Monday, because they were trying to stop that. The judge just extended that to Monday, so as of yesterday, 65,000 have resigned.
Oh well, I mean, I think this is probably the best deal they're going to get.
Yeah.
So either if you do not like the way the direction of the federal government's going, and you are a bureaucrat, you better take this deal now, because I don't think it's going to get any better.
No, it's not going to get any better. It's going to come down to firings, and you're not going to get severance at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
I mean, do you think that we are going? I know I saw Trump post yesterday that I think it was like balanced budget, DJT. His tweets are kind of funny. But do you think that the Trump administration is going to be able to get to where we are going to be able to balance our budget and possibly have a surplus
in 4 years?
Yeah.
Man, before Doge came in, I would have said no.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But with Doge coming in and cutting, what are they saying now? $1 billion a day is what they're saving us.
Yeah.
That's an insane amount of money. So yeah, if they keep going and keep cutting more, yeah, I think we possibly could get to where we could have a surplus, and we should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
No, there's not. The money that they are spending on are just, I mean, these just silly, goofy projects. But I think it's probably worse than that. I think, and one of the big talking points is just getting away from foreign aid. I agree with that, but that's not going to balance the budget. That's just a very small percentage of how much we spend annually.
Yeah.
The big thing, and this is where it's going to turn into a huge fight, is entitlements. If we don't start figuring out, at least get away from the fraud and waste, not necessarily, I don't know if he's going to be able to cut anything as far as just benefits or welfare.
Yeah, you're talking Medicare, Medicaid type stuff.
Yeah. But I think if they could just clean that up a little bit, I think there can be some really big savings there.
There really could. The hard part there is even if you just mention them,
oh gosh,
everybody flies into a frenzy saying, "Oh, they're going to cut it, and I'm not going to be able to survive," and whatever else. But if you come in there realistically and you, like you said, just try to get rid of the fraud and abuse that's in there, not necessarily cut it for people that need it. There's nothing wrong with having a safety net for our citizens, but get rid of these doctors' offices' ability to defraud the government with it, because there's a lot of that. And I'm not saying every one of them does it, but there are some. Yeah, you could save a lot of money that way. But we've got to get past the idea that just because we're going to go after the fraud and abuse, that we're going to cut everybody's. That's insane.
Yeah, for sure. So there's that. That was one of the big stories. Is there anything that stuck out to you this week? I know Jesse's really tired.
I'm getting my caffeine.
Getting your caffeine?
Yeah, I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, really just watching the USAID. Well, I think it's hilarious, old Mr. Big Balls.
Oh, man. Big Balls is saving the world, dude.
Yeah. What is he, 19?
I mean, what 19-year-old didn't have an account name of
Exactly.
Big Balls?
I know 40-year-olds that do. I mean,
Right.
I think it's hilarious, but he's also a genius.
Yeah. Yep.
A reformed hacker. Mm-hmm. Whatever. He's coming in, he's doing some good work.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny that that's their big deal. Oh, we got to get Big Balls out of there.
Well, you know, I hear he does have big balls.
Why is it the left's first reaction to just cut off your balls?
Well, because they don't want people that like that to have big balls that have the ability to expose them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, there's a clip.
Yeah, so that was a big story. Also, did you see where I think what was this yesterday? Musk tweeted that he loves President Trump as much as a straight man can love another man. And,
didn't see that.
they asked Trump about it at a press conference and asked him what Melania would think, and he was like, "Well, I think she'll be fine with it."
Did you see that Time magazine where they put Elon Musk behind the Resolute desk?
Yeah,
And they tried to talk to Trump about it, hoping to get a reaction out of him.
right.
And they did. And that was just hilarious. Oh, is Time magazine still around?
Yeah.
Had no idea.
They still exist. Oh, interesting. Yeah, they're gonna try to keep poking that.
Oh yeah.
Because they
know what kind of visceral reaction
Yeah.
they can get from him.
yeah.
So they're trying to push it and make him look crazy.
Yeah, and he's been very disciplined to not let that at least show that it's affecting him. But he does have a huge ego, and that is one of the ways to, in the past, to poke the bear. But
Yeah, I think he's different now.
I think so too. I think it's just I think he understands that this is what they're doing, and he's just much more disciplined than he
And
has.
I think beyond him understanding that is what they're trying to do, I think a lot of it has to do with, man, look how much he's accomplished this quickly. He's got too much on his plate to worry about that. Mm-hmm. He's got goals in mind, and he's going after it, and you can say whatever you want. He's going for it.
Yeah.
And that stuff just doesn't matter as much when you're really focused.
One thing I think that has been the story has just kind of went away that happened. What was that? Maybe it was either Sunday or Monday, but because of the Doge story and USAID, it's kind of quiet down a little bit. But the way Trump was able to have Canada and Mexico completely bend to his will
Yeah.
with the tariffs.
Yeah.
What happened to that? I mean, it was just, tariffs this, it's going to cause the economy. As of right now, we're good. I know I'm a little worried at times. I think the tariffs can, if used appropriately, can be used as a tool to get our way in the world because of the financial power we have,
Yeah.
the economic power we have. But what happened to that story? That was such a is it because it was a huge win for Trump?
Yeah, of course it is.
You
Anything that's a big win for Trump, they're going to try to bury. Right now, the Democrats can get on and cry and whine and moan about USAID, so they're going to take the spotlight on this.
Yep.
But yeah, that was a huge win for Trump. They're going to bury it just like they did everything else.
Yeah.
Just like they buried the assassination attempts. That still blows my mind that faded out so quickly on mainstream media.
Yep. Yeah. I think we'll get to the bottom of that. I just am so excited the way they have already it's almost just disclosing a lot of the secrets that the federal government has withheld from the American people for the past century, really. I think we're going to start to see, I mean, it's just, especially with, the JFK files, I think the 15 days was up yesterday. I haven't looked in to see exactly what the status is on that, but
the way I understand it is they're not going to release anything just yet. They had that amount of time to put a plan together.
Yeah, come up with a plan.
Release. So who knows when we'll actually get to see anything.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I just don't know what I think the deadline was yesterday to have that plan presented to the president. So I don't know, the status on that part.
Yeah.
But Anna Paulina Luna, the congresswoman from Florida, the good-looking one. You know what I'm talking about?
Probably.
Yeah.
I see a picture, but
so she tweeted earlier this week that she is going to have a press conference the following week, which is this week coming up, and it's going to affect the entire nation. Some people speculated that it was aliens. Others are thinking it's more on the lines of a disclosure department. She has been kind of in that UAP world, but I think it's more on just disclosure of secrets that should be known by the American people, not necessarily UAP. But she was on some podcast this week, and she was asked, does it have to do with aliens? And she said, well, let me just say this. It's bigger than that. I was like, well, what's bigger than that if it's, if you are throwing in aliens in the picture? So who knows what that's going to be about next week.
Yeah, we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Did you hear anything about that?
No, I didn't. That's the first I heard of it.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen there. Also, we have, what's his name? Tom Homan, right? Mm-hmm. There was some leak that there was some raid that they were going to do in Chicago. Did you hear about this story?
No, they had a leak of it?
Yeah.
Of the preparations?
Yeah. And so he was on, I think, Fox News, and he was telling them that they found the leaker and that person's going to be prosecuted.
Good.
Yeah. They're not playing around.
No, they're not.
And, well, let's stay on this story because I got something else just popped up. But they're not playing around. And do you know anything on the status of, that's been kind of quiet this week, the status of just deportations in general and what, how we're looking on that?
Well, I know there was a big push. Obviously, Holman himself wants to deport more than they've been accomplishing. Mm-hmm. I know there's been a lot of pressure from Trump pushing him to deport more as well. Yeah. But yeah, with everything with the USAID going on, I really haven't seen any numbers coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have to look into that. Yeah.
I do like, have you seen all those protests down in Dallas? A bunch of the Mexicans are coming out waving Mexican flags, shutting down streets, really pushing it. I mean, burning our flag. Like, how you're in America, you obviously want to be here. Yeah. Or you wouldn't have come. And if you didn't like it, you can go back home on your own. Self-deportation is a thing. Yeah. If you like Mexico that much more, go back.
Right.
We don't want people that don't want to be here anyways. Mm-hmm. And we only want the people that came here legally. Yeah. And if you came here legally and you're taking part in those protests, you need to rethink where you need to be living anyways. I mean.
Right. And they did release the Kamala interview on 60 Minutes. Didn't watch it. Did you see?
The unedited.
Yeah, the unedited version.
I watched some of it.
Yeah. Is it as bad as we suspected, or is it?
it's pretty obvious how they edited it and made her look better. Mm-hmm. It's not as bad as they made it sound.
Yeah.
And granted, I haven't seen the whole thing, so there may be parts in there that are. But
Right.
The big one going around is like, oh, she scolded one of her staffers. If that was a scolding, she needs to meet my mom and learn how to scold because my mom could get you.
Right.
That was pretty mild.
Yeah.
I don't know. They made it out worse than it seems to me. But regardless, they shouldn't have gone through and deceptively edited it to try to promote her as a candidate.
I agree.
And they ought to be in trouble for that. I mean, that's just crazy to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So what popped up in my mind when I was talking about the other issue is that Trump revoking Biden's security clearance.
Yes, I was gonna bring that up. Yep.
Did you? I'm trying to find the tweet he put on Truth Social. It's
I've
freaking
got
hilarious.
It on my phone. I saved it, but yeah, basically he just says, he did this to the 45th president, me.
Here it is.
Okay,
You
read it.
There is no need for Joe Biden to continue receiving access to classified information. Therefore, we are immediately revoking Joe Biden's security clearances and stopping his daily intelligence briefings. He set the precedent in 2021 when he instructed the intelligence community to stop the 45th president of the United States, me, from accessing details on national security, a courtesy provided to former presidents. And they left this out on AP, but I think at the very end he says, Joe Biden, you're fired.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
See,
Can't get away from those Apprentice days.
I know it's so small, but it's stuff like this that I absolutely love. The small things that he's just, it's just like a poke in the
dagger,
eye.
And he's just twisting it a little more. Yeah.
You feel that? How's that feel?
Yeah. Yeah, that one was pretty funny. I just saw that this morning.
Yeah. I did see a tweet. I don't know if this is true or not because I didn't follow up on it. And I just, after reading it, I was like, I don't know if that happened or not. But there was a tweet that showed that he revoked Obama's security clearance to the White House specifically. Did you hear anything about that?
No.
Okay. If true, I love it.
Well, I mean, Obama's had plenty of access to it. He got his third term, supposedly.
Yeah, he did. And they effed around, and they right now they are definitely finding it out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just keep thinking, "Vengeance is mine," saith the Lord. Oh man.
Did you catch any of the Sean Ryan podcasts that dropped?
Which one?
With Lee, what's her name? The Asian girl. She used to
No,
work
I didn't
for
watch
the
that
Biden
one.
administration.
No. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can. I mean, y'all can always go look at his podcast because he definitely needs us to promote him. He's not doing very well.
Right. Yeah.
No, I mean, it was just kind of crazy. Just, I guess she was leaking to Fox as early as 2022, and talking to them, basically letting them know that, hey, he's not all there. And she does go back and forth. She says, hey, I'll always love the man. He was always very kind to me. Whatever. She still loves him as a person, but she couldn't stand the fact that they were pushing and hiding it, that he was in a mental decline. Mm. And so she talks a lot about that. She talks a lot about how basically these Gen Zers and millennials that were on his staff were running things.
Yeah.
Having him sign stuff, he had no idea what it was. You talked about last week about Mike Johnson saying that, and she was saying that the same thing, but not with Mike Johnson. Other staffers doing it, and him having no clue.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. I mean,
the danger they freaking put the country in. I mean, can you imagine what the hell could have happened? For 4 years, dude, I don't think we realized how vulnerable we were. Goodness.
Well, and the crazy part to me is a lot of us saw that. We all
Sure.
knew it. It was out in the open.
Sure.
It wasn't hard to see.
Right. But then
How do you, as a Democrat, justify pushing through with that?
right.
How?
I know. Well, power, and they knew what they were doing. Power, and in fact, it was almost a perfect setup for them. You know, they got all they wanted, the goodies, and had no one to stop them.
Yeah. She did talk about that too. Them, basically replacing the guest list for his parties and guests with their own friends to bring into the White House for the parties and stuff.
Connor McMahon, what's up, dude? You got a question? He's liked alive. He's
Hey,
man.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah. If you guys got a question, ask away, because we are definitely the most brilliant people in this room.
In this room, that's
That's
true.
about as far as it gets, though. So, sorry, I just saw that. And, but yeah, it's exciting. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. I don't think we'll ever see anything like this again.
I hope we don't.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope we don't get to a point where it's needed. But
No, if we can get in here and get this, the government cleaned up and running efficiently, and running for the American people.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, that's the way it should go, and hopefully we can get there and stay there. Obviously, that's not realistic.
right.
I would love to see it last through my kid's lifetime, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a big monster, and it's going to take. It's going to take probably at least 2 terms, and obviously we know Trump can't serve another term constitutionally.
Nor do we want him to.
No, but it's a huge. This is the biggest corporation on planet Earth,
Yeah.
the U.S. government.
Yep.
So I was looking up. I didn't see anything about Obama, so that may not be
It was
true.
probably fake.
Yeah. It's funny. This happens on Rogan's show too. He's like, "Dang it, they got me."
Yeah.
And that's they
Well,
got me.
that's part of the hard part of having so much information thrown at you,
Mm-hmm.
and especially if you have a full-time job, you don't have time to sift through all of it and figure out what's true and what's not. We do our best,
Right.
so sometimes it's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, and you get lazy too.
Yeah,
You just scrolling through. Yeah, that sounds like that would be true. Yeah. Next headline.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
But yeah, so moving forward, what do you think will be, as far, I know Trump is going to be meeting with Zelensky. I don't know if it's next week, but I did see a headline that he does plan on, and this was from a reputable, I know this is happening. He's meeting with Zelensky to talk about the war, and I think I know there's somebody, I can't remember his name, that's been on the ground trying to come up with a plan, working for the Trump administration.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember his name?
Oh man, Mike something, I think.
Yeah,
I don't remember his name. I know who you're talking about though.
Yeah.
He went.
I know.
Yeah.
I lost it. But what do you think is going to happen there? Do you think? I know he's been mentioning rare earth minerals.
Yeah. So there's 2 parts of that. Sorry to cut you off.
No.
Yeah, we've sent them all this money,
Mm-hmm.
and then Zelensky comes out and says, "Hey, I haven't received most of this money."
Yeah.
Yeah, no surprise there.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be some investigation. At the same time, Trump is saying, "Hey, we need y'all to give us your rare earth minerals as basically collateral for all this money.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what we supplied you with all this. We need something in return."
Yeah.
That's fair. I do think something will come out of that. Listen, Trump's a deal maker. Something's going to come out of this.
Yeah.
Don't know what exactly, but something will come out. I do think they are in the process of actually ending the war.
Mm-hmm.
My prediction on it, Putin is probably going to be able to keep the ground that he has taken,
Yeah.
and that'll become part of Russia again. And there's going to have to be some sort of an agreement on both ends, both saying Putin will stop and stay out of there, leave him alone. But also there's got to be some sort of firm agreement on our end saying, hey, we will not push NATO any closer to you.
Yeah, that's the key.
It's got to be.
Yeah. They you know,
We have gone back on our word so many times on that. So there's got to be something more than just our word or a little, I don't know.
There's gotta be
some
action.
sort of, yeah.
yeah.
And that's the only way to end this.
Yeah, for sure. And we're partly responsible for
Yes.
this war because of how close we have continued to become or get to Russia. NATO is just continually to surround their borders. I mean, just think about it. If we had Russia in Mexico, had troops in Mexico,
Okay.
what the hell would we do?
Okay, take a step back. We've had this exact same scenario. It was called the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah.
And we were willing to go to war over that.
Nuclear
War.
Yeah.
To say, no, you're not going to be that close to our borders.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we're over there just creeping up on them. And after agreeing that we wouldn't push any closer,
Right.
then we do. And he says, okay, no more. And then we did it again. Okay, no more. And we did it again. We're literally on their border now.
You must be a Russian asset because you said
Oh,
that.
yeah, I must be because we have common sense.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
I mean, you can think clearly and still understand that, you know, I'm not a Russia fan. I'm not a Russian citizen.
No, America first.
Yeah, I want America to succeed. And when America does wrong, I'm going to call them out. You know, I think Putin's probably an evil man, but I think he's also a person that loves his country and wants the best for his country the same way, you know, we should want our leader to put our country first.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would have acted any differently if I was in his shoes, the way we have encroached upon their country. I may have done the exact same thing that he did. You know, I don't, basically what I'm getting at and what we've already said is that we are definitely, partly, if not mostly responsible, for the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
So
It should have never happened. We should have kept our word.
yeah,
And whatever. Let's fix it.
yeah,
Let's fix it.
yeah. Another story that just popped up in my brain. And I when I first heard this, when he made that announcement, I was like, no, this has got to be some kind of negotiation tactic because this goes everything against America first. And that was when he mentioned the U.S. was going to basically take over Gaza.
Okay.
I was like,
We're going to take over the Gaza
what
Strip.
the F? Are you kidding
We're
me?
going to make it better than ever.
It's going to be what did you say? The Golden Riviera or something like that. The Riviera of the Middle East. You know, it's going to be beautiful.
Nobody's going to want to move.
Yeah.
Why would you want to leave where you live in?
Right. Right. But I think this was a negotiation tactic to get the Middle East to step up and rebuild. And since then, Jordan and was it Egypt? I know Jordan was one of the countries. I can't remember if it was Egypt or anyways. They are now developing plans to help rebuild Gaza. So,
Well, and of course, we don't want to take over anything else.
no.
I do think it's a negotiation tactic, whatever. The funniest part to me was you see Benjamin Netanyahu's face whenever Trump said
Dude, he looked. I loved how uncomfortable he looked.
that. He looked like he needed to use the restroom
Yeah.
2 days ago.
Oh my gosh, what the freak?
Oh, it cracked me up.
But what the hell is he going to do about it? You know? I mean, what is he going to do? Nothing.
negotiate and hopefully find a peace for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
A sustainable
Right.
peace.
Yeah.
That's, man, I know we're not alone. The world is tired of war, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is okay to live peacefully.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
And I think the majority of civilians feel that way. The problem is we get these leaders that
Yeah.
have different agendas. And a big part of the problem, too, is war is such a profitable business.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very
anytime
much so.
you get money involved in anything, you're going to try and grow your customer base.
Yeah. For sure.
And it's a terrible, terrible way to do it. But
Yeah.
thankfully, I do believe Trump cares more about people.
Yeah. I believe so.
And that's why he's pushing this hard on things. But
Yeah.
we'll see. Go ahead.
Did you have some?
I was going to change subjects, so go ahead.
Well, I was just going to mention the press conference when Japan's prime minister came. I think it was yesterday, and they did just a little mini press conference, and
About
question.
the steel?
Well, no,
Oh.
they asked him. They thought it was going to be a gotcha question, and some reporter asked him a hypothetical question like, "What is Japan's response going to be if the U.S. places tariffs on Japan?" And he said something along the lines of, "I'm not in a position to answer hypothetical questions." And Trump looked over. He's like, "Man, this guy's good." This guy's good. But one other thing that stood out to me made me realize that most of the world, and this I think is a good thing, but some people may think it's a bad thing. I didn't think I realized how much other leaders fear Trump.
Yeah.
Fear him. And this was kind of made clear when the Japan prime minister, I think they asked him what was his impressions of, because this is the first time he met President Trump. And he was like, from a distance, he's very intimidating and almost, I don't know if he used the word scary, but it was one of those, you could use a synonym it was something on that line. But he was like, yeah, he's actually very genuine and just had nothing but positive things to say to him. But the first things he said was, before meeting him, his impression of Trump was that he's just very intimidating and some guy that you don't want to cross, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm paraphrasing, but
Strength through power, man.
yeah.
Nothing
He's got
wrong
that
with
little tick, and people fear him.
Yeah.
I want other countries to fear him,
Yes.
not the American people to fear him.
No,
I don't fear him.
exactly.
I don't fear him. I don't think he's gonna. What kind of dictator cuts?
The size of government?
Yeah,
Yeah. None.
that's the
That
exact.
literally flies in the face of fascism.
Yeah, and what kind of dictator would want to improve the Second Amendment or improve freedom of speech?
Yeah.
Come on, if you just use your brain and logic, that's not what a dictator would do, because they want to have complete control over the country. And you cannot have complete control of the country with the Second Amendment and the First Amendment.
Yeah.
You can't have that.
Nope. It's impossible.
But they don't use reason and logic, so that's neither here nor there. So
Yeah.
you had something, and you probably have forgotten
Yeah,
now.
I did have something. You're right. We didn't steal. We secured another plane. And now I'm losing my train of thought on it. Was it the Venezuelans that we took oh my gosh.
Venezuela.
Maduro.
Oh yeah,
Maduro.
Maduro. What?
Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
See, I'm lost now. I need more caffeine.
Was there something going on with Venezuela? And
Well, we had commandeered one of their planes, the presidential plane,
okay,
this is several years ago.
Gotcha.
But we just took another one. And I guess it was owned by some bigwig
One of his cronies.
oil groups, but they were allowing him to use it to travel the world. And so we said, that's ours now.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. I just thought that was funny.
There was something that I think you wanted to talk about, and maybe you have forgotten, because
have.
you mentioned last night, and I saw this and I didn't really look into it. So I'm curious to see what your thoughts were on the, what did they call it? Something wealth fund?
Oh, did I mention that yesterday?
Yeah.
The sovereign wealth fund?
Yeah.
So, and I don't know a whole lot about this. I want to know more about it.
Okay.
But Trump signed a deal to create the sovereign wealth fund, and I guess other countries have this. And basically, it's just so your citizens can share in the wealth of a national object or whatever. So, like Saudi Arabia, it does this with their oil.
Okay.
And so every citizen gets a percentage of all the oil they sell.
Gotcha.
And so it'd be something like that where we could use it and invest it, and it helps the individual Americans. And I don't know if that necessarily means you get a check every year
Right.
for however much your percentage is, or if that percentage goes into infrastructure and that gets broken down into the population of certain areas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to know more about this.
Yeah.
We supposedly already have something similar to this. It's called Social Security, which is a joke.
Gosh, that fraud.
So if we can do something that's actually, well, something that will actually grow wealth,
Grow income.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't say I'm 100% on board with it because I don't know enough about
Right.
it. But it sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, it does sound like a great idea. It does kind of make me nervous that, I think it would be ran appropriately under this administration, but the problem is what happens next.
Yes.
There would need to be
And I think
some
a lot
kind
of
of
that has to do with how you set it
safeguards,
up. Exactly.
that would have to be overturned by Congress. And right now, so they need Congress to start. Somebody posted something and made a lot of sense too, that Mike Johnson just needs to start passing every executive order that Trump puts out. Just write it up in a short law and put it up for vote. Just every executive order, just so these can stay.
Yes,
and
because
not-
executive orders can be overturned.
Exactly.
Once they become law, it's a lot harder to change it.
Right. Yep.
Which is that's how our country's supposed to run. We're not supposed to run on executive
Yeah,
orders.
it's done that on purpose. It's frustrating for those who are in power. When I'm saying in power, meaning that's what our people are in power right now.
Yes, we have the
so it's
majority.
great right now, right?
Yeah, but that door swings both ways.
Exactly. So
And that's why it's not supposed to be set up this way. That's why we have a legislative branch. That's why we have checks on power. We have that balance
Yep.
to prevent any executive, any president, we'll just make it easy,
yeah,
any president to have that much power. The problem is Congress got so dadgum lazy over these last several decades that they have granted the executive branch more power because they just don't want to do the work, I guess.
yeah.
And that's not how it's supposed to be. Take that power back as Congress and let's start passing these through the legislative branch. Making them laws. Do it the right way.
Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah, you're going to get me on a rant here.
No, I think it's good. Do you know the senator from Oklahoma, Mark?
Mark Wayne?
Yeah, Mark Wayne Muller. Is it something Mark?
I always forget his last name.
Yeah.
I just always remember, man, there ain't no more country name than Mark Wayne.
Yeah. He's been doing a really good job posting just updates on Senate confirmation. And I was reading a lot of the comments, and this is not to put down your average American. It's just how terrible the educational system is. He's having to explain how the process is working. It's frustrating a lot of people. They're ignorant of how, the Senate, just how procedures work in general. And he's done a good job of explaining, this is set up this way because we don't want a how do you put this? Just basically, there's on the lines of what you said when it comes to checks and balances, but it's a process, and it's the way our founders set the Senate up. But there's just a lot of frustrations. They're like, and I'm frustrated too, and I think they could still go a little further, and that is the Senate minority, they are stalling these confirmations when it comes to Patel, and Bondi she finally was confirmed, but they're having to wait an extra week, basically. And so he was explaining that process. It's just, I think it's a good thing too. I think people, your average American they've been more curious on how the government works in general.
Yeah.
So that's a positive thing. But I think there needs a lot, there needs to be some education on how the process works. Because there's a lot of ignorance in that realm.
So kind of shifting gears a little bit, but on the same level, I read a deal saying that, and I hope this is true because I didn't look into it either, but that Mike Johnson was talking about taking these bills that are trying to go through Congress and breaking them down into individual items, which is how it should be. We shouldn't be passing 4,000-page bills that have a bunch of BS in it just because there's one item in there that you really like and want to get through.
Yep.
So if we're able to actually break that down, and specifically they were talking about the financial stuff, where the money's going. Okay, fine. If we're going to spend $250,000 here, that's fine, but we're going to vote on that alone. We're not going to vote on that mixed with $10 million other dollars worth of different projects. They're going to be individual votes. And I think that's how it should be anyways.
Yeah.
But I hope that's true, and I hope they actually do that. Then you can go and you can really look at your congressman and say, no, this POS voted for or against whatever. Mm-hmm. Let's hold them accountable for that. There can't be any excuses saying, well, I know that was in there, but we really needed this other thing.
Yeah. Yep. In the past, that's what they've done.
That's what they do constantly. Yeah.
Yep. Because well, it's for the children. If you don't vote for this, the children are going to starve. But they don't tell you what else you're voting for. Trans surgery for children, for example. I'm just making up something, but that's how extreme it is.
Yeah.
It's for the children. We need this money for Medicare or Medicaid. But it's attached to these ridiculous programs or laws, and it's the way the system works, which is
poor.
Yeah, it's poor. But I'm hoping that changes. I think it will. If we continue with the pressure.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. The amount citizens are becoming citizens again. And what I mean by that is that they are actually participating in the governmental process.
Yeah.
As it was intended to be.
And the beauty of that too is it's not just your 40, 50, 60-year-olds that are participating. Now we're getting these in 20 and 30-year-olds, and we're getting a lot of teenagers.
Yeah. It's almost like
getting involved. I can't tell you how many. Well, my daughter is one, which it's a little different because we talk politics a lot.
Yeah.
But she's really excited because she gets to vote for the first time in the next election.
Oh my gosh.
And she is pumped up about it. But it's not just her.
Wow.
Her and her other church friends are all talking about, like, they got a whole group talking about, what do we do? She asks me questions all the time about how the process is, because her and her friends at church talk about getting to vote for in the next election.
Yeah. Well,
that's pretty exciting.
I say, oh my gosh, not because I don't want your daughter to vote. It's just,
it's because
crazy
she's
that
so
she's going to be
old
that old.
Yeah.
Gosh, we're old.
Yeah.
Wow. Time is flying by.
But I did have her when I was 9, so.
That is true. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it happens. In
That's
Arkansas,
why I got
right?
out of the. That's why I got out of the public school system.
Yeah.
Miss Johnson, you were good though.
Shout out to Miss Johnson. Good grief. Gosh, what were we just talking about?
Yeah, sometimes we get stupid and get off subject there.
Yeah.
We were talking about a little bit about the Senate confirmation hearings. Then we switched over to Congress and passing line item bills. And everybody just getting involved. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Citizens becoming more involved.
Yeah, I think that's a really positive thing. It's almost like it's became cool again to be interested in the government, or just politics in general, how it works. It's became hip in a way to study it and to know more about it.
So, with more citizens getting involved in this is something that we should all do. We've got Doge for the federal government right now coming in and figuring out where all this waste is. Fantastic. I love it. What about state level? Come on, let's get a Doge for Texas. Let's get a Doge for California. Let's get a Doge for Oklahoma. Let's get more local. And I'm perfectly fine with it going all the way down to the city level.
Yeah. No.
The waste isn't just at the top.
Oh,
I promise you, it's all throughout.
Oh, no.
I want to see it all.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Greg Abbott,
there you go.
you're listening.
Yeah,
Let's
we know
get
you're
something
listening,
going,
bro.
man. You want to talk about how you're transparent? Let's see it.
Yeah.
Get something started here in Texas. I love it.
That guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why does he seem like a snake to me?
Because he is. He proved that during COVID.
Yeah.
He's worthless. He backpedaled really hard
Yeah.
whenever it came time for election again. And that's fine. I didn't want Beto in or anybody else.
Right.
I did not want Greg Abbott in.
No.
He's whatever. It's not election season for him right now.
Right.
We'll start beating that drum later on.
Yeah.
But we've got to get somebody better that actually cares about the state of Texas.
Yeah. And, we got John Cornyn, that guy. I think let's see here. I think it comes up I think he's up for re-election in 2 years, but I'll look that up. But, the state of Texas should not have this guy as one of their senators. John Cornyn, re-election. Yep, 2026. So, Texas, it's time. It's time to get rid of this idiot.
It's been time.
Yeah. And get rid of him. And, I think they need to start focusing not necessarily just on the federal government, but just like you said, the state government. We need to make sure who we are sending to Austin pay attention to our state legislature, our state representatives, and what they believe.
Well, and that's the primary idea behind the United States of America. Every state is supposed to be operated as if it's its own country,
Yep.
but we're united as one. And so we always have a large turnout, and it's always super polarized, whatever, on the federal level, but the state level tends to get forgotten. And we've got to step up as citizens and start pushing the state level more, because first of all, we have the right to, but I don't want our state run like California. California doesn't want their state run like Texas.
No.
We've got to get out there as a population and push what we really want in our own states.
Yeah.
So whatever.
It is our fault as the American people that we allowed this crap to go on for so long. This goes on us. And so I think this is the Great Awakening. Not necessarily spiritually. I'm hopeful that it
You do
touches
see a
that
lot
as well.
more of that swinging over too, though.
Yeah.
Christianity's on the uptick. here in the States, which is
What the freak? Sorry, guys.
you found those topless pictures of RFK again, didn't you? Dang it.
Yeah. Yeah, which I think they are finalizing those 3 next week. They should be up for the final confirmation vote.
Yeah.
There's so many freaking procedural votes. But believe all 3 of them, the 3 that we've mentioned quite a bit. So that should be good.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. That's my impatience is kicking in on that a little bit, but that's all right.
Mine too, but we so far so good. I think all 3 should be good. The way what Senator Mark,
The way you talked about it,
Wayne Mullen,
Mark Wayne
Mullen, something like that. However you say his last name.
So in case anybody don't know who we're talking about Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, and RFK, are the big 3 that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So, what's going to happen with the ATF?
Don't know. What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. I've just seen some teasers out there. I don't know. They're talking about how,
Some reforms
yes,
possibly coming up.
yes, to deregulate a lot of stuff, and I hope that's the case.
Yeah. I did see a law. So a congressman put up for, I think, wrote a law to put up for vote. I don't know if it'll see the light of day. This happens a lot.
Yeah.
But it was to make ivermectin over the counter.
Yes, yeah, and it should be.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That
I know.
is one of the most studied drugs
Yeah.
in history.
Well, and
you can literally buy it over the counter for your animals.
Right. Yep. And I think they should reverse inhalers. Inhalers used to be able to buy inhalers over the counter. Now, which I have to, get a prescription for it now.
You can still buy inhalers over the counter.
Where?
Walgreens, Walmart.
They
Yeah.
took
When?
a few years back.
No, because I've bought some this year. Well, this past year. Yeah.
We talking about the same thing?
You might be talking about a specific inhaler. Like I know like Pro Air, you have to have a prescription for, but there are definitely other inhalers that you can get over the counter with different ingredients.
Okay, specifically the inhalers for asthma, and is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, so there's different ones. There's some that are still that are prescription only. And they'll be for, like, there's some of them that you use and it's a all day lasting one. That one is prescription only. There's other ones that are more like emergency ones that you can use 4 or 5 times a day. You can get those over the counter. It's just like an albuterol inhaler.
That's the word I'm looking for, albuterol. Okay,
But, okay, while you're looking that up, as long as we're going to talk about drugs, there's a ton of drugs that should be over the counter that are not for no good reason. I know over the last several years, some of them have come over. Like Nexium is finally available over the counter. It's a acid reflux medication. There's a lot of, we're responsible adults. If you want to put a limitation on there where you have to be 18 or older, that's fine. I get that.
okay.
Go ahead. You find what you're looking for?
Yeah. So it specifically albuterol is not over the counter. It says there are over the counter inhalers available,
bromide?
but they don't contain the same medications found in common prescription inhalers such as albuterol.
See, and that's crazy though. Albuterol should be.
But it
allowed
used to
over the counter.
be when you and I worked at Walgreens. I remember stocking the albuterol inhalers, and it was. I remember because
There was different ones though. Even back then, there was ones that were still prescription only, and ones that were allowed over the counter.
possibly like a certain, maybe a higher milligram or something like that. But it's, I think they should make albuterol, at least, some of it over the counter.
Yeah, you're getting into deep pharma territory, and that's a whole different system that needs to be infiltrated by Doge.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, anything else been grinding your gears?
No, just something a little interesting. We were talking about ATF, and Trump has done this big push with Mexico, wanting them to secure the border and cut down on fentanyl crossing and everything else. Mm-hmm. And the Mexican president, she's just a beautiful lady, Claudia. She's whatever. I'm sure she's fine. I don't know. She's not my president, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
But she has said a lot of stuff that I think is a little moronic. But one thing she did say, and I actually agreed with her, she came out in a statement and said, yeah, we need to work on the border. We need to stop fentanyl crossing. But the U.S. needs to stop sending weapons over here to the cartels through ATF, which has happened.
Yeah.
That 100% has
Fair.
happened. And so, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Also, stop giving our dadgum guns away.
No, yeah, I remember that. That was Attorney General. There was a big, I think he was
It's Fast and Furious.
impeached for it, or there was impeachment drawn. I don't know if it was, I think it was voted. I don't know if it was voted in favor or not, but Eric Holder, Attorney General Eric Holder under the Obama administration. Remember that?
Doing the Fast and Furious program.
Yeah.
Is what they called it, which what a funny name. But that's not the first time that it's happened, though,
Right.
either. And the CIA has a lot to do with it because they want to push it. And their idea is, oh, we can track these guns, so let's give them to them and see where they go.
It's for national security.
Yeah, national security, that we weaponize our enemies.
Yeah.
How idiotic.
I know. I think that buzzword is used. It's definitely, for national security purposes. It's used for everything almost. It's like to withhold information from the American people.
Yeah. What a lot of it is it's actually national security theater. Mm-hmm. They're propping up and putting on a show with a lot of it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, operating behind the scenes and for things that aren't necessarily for national security. So, anyways, I just thought that was worth mentioning.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me. I had to look up that quote because when you said the world, did you say the world is a theater, or
No, national security theater?
Yeah. Okay.
Security
so
theater is
a
big thing like TSA.
And then I thought it made me think the world is a theater. Who said that quote? It's Jacques. All the world's a stage, is what he said. And I don't know what was it. Shakespeare's. All the world's a stage is the phrase that begins a monologue that William Shakespeare, pastoral comedy, As You Like It, spoken by the melancholy Jacques. And it is, the world is a
Well,
is a
yeah,
stage.
we're literally on a podcast and on TikTok Live right now. It's literally a stage.
Well, that is true. It's literally a stage. But the world in general and these actors, the war is labeled as a theater.
Yeah.
We were all puppets, and I'm hoping to
Cut those strings, baby.
Yes, sir. So, we will next week. We won't have a podcast, possibly, right?
Yeah, probably not. Gonna have a little break, some traveling coming up. Mm-hmm. So,
but the following week, I believe we're gonna be okay. Maybe
we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll put something out.
Yeah, for sure. Jesse may do a strip tease or something on TikTok, so it may be one of those kind of things. But it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
Anything else before we go?
No, I think we're good. Man, I appreciate all y'all guys on the live jumping in. And
sure,
if y'all want to, jump over to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you can find podcasts. It's the Skeptics Table, and we would appreciate a subscription and comments and
absolutely
anything to help us grow.
For sure, man.
So appreciate y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you all for listening to this week's episode. Please subscribe to our channel if you enjoy this type of content, and leave a comment if you have any topic you would like for us to cover. Have a great day.
Mind's always drifting somewhere out there. Questions lost, floating in the air. Thoughts like whispers calling me near. Visions blurry but crystal clear. Wandering mind, never quite still. Chasing shadows